YouTube, it's your boy APFC. Today's video is going to be discussing, is our midfield attacking threat or lack of attacking threat our biggest issue in terms of creating chances this season? Now, I randomly thought of doing this video topic last night. So the last hour or two, I've sort of been doing research on statistics because, to be honest, I think we look a lot less threatening without Aaron Ramsey in our side this year. Obviously, Ramsey left us at the end of last season to go to Juventus on a free transfer. And I don't think we've been the same since. I think if we had a player like Aaron Ramsey at Arsenal, well, he was at Arsenal, but playing whilst instead of being injured towards the end of last season, I feel that we probably could have won the Europa League. But I thought we definitely would have made top four. And it just sort of got me thinking in respects to where are the goals coming from right now? There are no goals coming from anyone else in the squad except Aubameyang, a couple of wingers in respects to Martinelli and Pepe chipping in every now and then, but not enough. But where else are they coming from? And it got me thinking, how is our midfield goal scoring compared to other seasons in the past? And now, this statistic I think is the most damning statistic that I've seen since I started doing videos. Obviously, I've done lots of different topics of whatnot, but I wanted to look up basically how many goals has our centre midfielders chipped in over the last 6 seasons or so. To give you an idea, now this statistics I found absolutely crazy. We have got one goal from the centre mids this season in the Premier League. One goal. Lucas Torreira. Lucas Torreira against Liverpool is the only goal that we've got from the centre midfield. Ozil's got nothing. Willock's got nothing in the Premier League, I'm talking here. Xhaka has got nothing. Ceballos has got nothing. No goals. And obviously the main talk right now is we can't create chances and whatnot. We're not getting enough shots on target. A lot of this for me is down to the fact that there is absolutely zero threat coming from our midfield. Because let me tell you, if Aubameyang has an off day, like he did against Burnley, Lacazette is completely out of form. Where are the goals going to come from? Because it's not coming from Pepe. It will come sporadically from Martinelli. He's a young player. We cannot put pressure on this young lad's shoulders. We cannot overhype this player like we do with so many other players at Arsenal. You know, I've seen these joke threads on Reddit being like, let's build him a statue, Martinelli. Yeah, very funny, but at the same time sort of shows an underlying issue with our fan base is that we're overhyping players. At least with Martinelli, it's not an average one. But getting a little bit off topic here, we've scored one goal in the centre of the midfield this season. In all competitions, we have scored 7. Willock 4, Ceballos 1, Torreira 2. 7 goals in all the games that we've played in all competitions this season. We have played some absolute poor sides in the Europa League, and we've got 7 goals in the whole of the midfield. Not good enough. And this is becoming a massive issue this season because, as I said, Aubameyang's not scoring, Lacazette's not scoring. There is no other way or no other avenue our goals are going to come because Pepe ain't doing it. Martinelli sometimes, but it's just not happening. I wanted to compare the amount of goals that we've got in the midfield in previous seasons, okay? So I'll go from last season. Last season in the Premier League, in comparison to our one goal that we've scored from centre midfielders this season, we scored 19. 19 last season. Ozil got 5. Ramsey got 4. Xhaka got 4. Torreira got 2. Mkhitaryan, who I know played as a winger, but also played centrally at times, got 6. So maybe if you take away 3 to 4 of those goals based on Mkhitaryan playing out wide, we would have had around 15. That is 14 more goals than we have got in the midfield this season. Would it 14 more goals, or 15, or even 19 more goals have got us at least over 40 points this season, an extra 14 goals? Yes. In my opinion, yes. In games such as Burnley, in games such as Crystal Palace, where our threat for whatever reason up top has stopped, whether the rhythm has been disrupted or, Lacazette is out of form, Ozil's ghosting games like he always does. That's where the midfield can come in and change the game. And this is why I think letting go of Aaron Ramsey was one of the biggest mistakes that we've made. Not that I overly rate Ramsey. I thought Ramsey was a very good player, not the great world-class player that a lot of Arsenal fans made him out to be, but he offered something that we did not have in the squad this season. He offered the ability to be a box-to-box, but also to make those late runs in and to be able to join the attack and ultimately chip in with a few goals. Willock has that ability for us, but he's too raw to judge him. The 17-18 season, which is the season before last, we had 17 in the midfield. We had Mkhitaryan 2, Ozil 4, Xhaka 1, and Ramsey 7, which actually works out to be, not 17, but it works out to be 14. 14 goals compared to the one this season. The 16-17, we got 11 goals from the midfield, centre midfield. We got 8 from Ozil, which I think was his best goal-scoring season in the Premier League. 2 from Xhaka and 1 from Ramsey. However, that season, our wingers chipped in with 37 goals. Sanchez got 24, Walcott got 10, and Iwobi got 3. 37 from the wing. How many goals have our wingers scored this season? I know this video is about the centre midfield role, but how many goals have our wingers actually scored this season? Because from what I can see here, Martinelli has got 3, Pepe has got 3, so we've got 6 goals from the wing. And this is a club that genuinely has aspirations to play in the Champions League again, and we've scored 1 goal from the centre of the mid and 6 goals from the wing all season in the Premier League. So we've basically scored 7 goals from the centre of the mid and wingers. 7. This is how far we've fallen, considering in the 16-17 season, we scored 37 from the wing. 37. Wouldn't we wish we had a player like Sanchez right now? The 15-16 season, we got 11 goals from the midfield, the centre of the midfield. We had 6 from Ozil and 5 from Ramsey. Now, bit of a reoccurring sort of theme here is that Ramsey, although it wasn't that player that got over 10 goals a season every season from the centre, he still offered something that nobody else in our side can do right now. Nobody else. That season we also hit 20 goals from the wingers. 20 compared to 6 so far. Sanchez 13, Walcott 5, Iwobi 2. So 20 from the wingers. Pretty much says it all right now. We have progressively gotten worse. I don't think our wingers have gotten worse. Perhaps in one way you could look at it, maybe yes, because Pepe is completely out of form. Martinelli is raw, and Aubameyang is not a winger. Not a winger at all. So, yeah, I mean, these are damning stats. And if you go to the season before that, which is the 14-15, we got 26 goals from the midfield that season. 26. Now, ironically, these were times I thought were very lean as an Arsenal fan. These were times where we were just scraping into the top 4, where we showed no ambition to really push to the next level. Right now, I would take those days back in an absolute heartbeat, because we had midfielders then, such as Cazorla, Ozil, Ramsey, Wilshere, and Rosicky. Whatever you guys may have thought about Wilshere, maybe, a lot of people rated him, a lot of people did not. Whatever you guys thought about Rosicky, that is a much better midfield than we have now, particularly offensively. Because that season, with the 26 goals from the mids, Wilshere got 7, Cazorla got 7, Ramsey got 6, Ozil got 4, and Rosicky got 2. That season, 21 goals came from the wingers. Sanchez got 16, Walcott got 5. I do know for that season we didn't get as many goals up top, but it just sort of shows that what exactly we're missing right now, because the season before that, and this is the last one I'll go back to, we got 28 goals in the midfield. 28. Ramsey got 10. That was one of his best goal-scoring seasons. Ozil got 5, Wilshere got 3, Cazorla got 4, Rosicky 2, Arteta 2, and Cazorla 4. No, I already said Cazorla. Flamini 2. I mean, you go from the 13-14 season, which I just mentioned, all the way to this season, 27 goal difference in respects to what we're offering in the midfield right now. We are missing probably out of all the numbers that I mentioned with, 19, 17, 11, 11, 26, 28, we are probably on average missing roughly around, I'd say, 16 to 18 goals a season because we do not have a centre midfielder that can score goals. We don't even have a centre midfielder right now that can create. Ozil has never been a massive goal scorer, but back in the day, he'd chip in maybe with only 5 to 6 goals, but at least you knew you were going to get 10 plus assists from him. So you'd essentially feed the wingers. Right now, we have a massive issue because we don't have a goal scoring midfielder because we let Ramsey go for nothing without adequately replacing him. Don't tell me Ceballos can do that role. Ceballos is a very good player, but he is not Aaron Ramsey level in respects to chipping in goals from the midfield. But he did it for the 21s in Spain. Fuck the 21s or the 23s, whatever it was. You can see now that he would not be able to offer what Ramsey could do. No chance. No chance. So, I mean, it's a big problem right now because we signed a right back in the last window. We signed a centre back. Two areas I think we needed strengthening, but we seem to keep ignoring the fact that we have no threat in the centre of the park attacking wise. Sure, we've definitely sorted out our defence. We've sorted out our defensive structure in the midfield. I personally think Torreira is one of the best defensive midfielders we've had in talent-wise the last 10 years. You could call it a big call, but we barely had a defensive midfielder for around 5 to 6 seasons. Barely had one. Had Coughlin come in for a bit. Otherwise, we were crying out for that role. We've got him. I don't think Xhaka is still Arsenal quality, although he's proven me wrong over the last 2 months under Arteta. But we've got those two stable players, and I've always called out for playing two deeper lying players that can offer more structure in respects to with the defense, but also spraying the ball forward to our creators, our wingers, our forwards. Aubameyang has got 14 goals in the Premier League this season, but if you add up Lacazette, Pepe, and Martinelli, that doesn't even hit 14. That hits 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have a massive problem right now in respects to scoring goals. Obviously, the defense is fixed, but I genuinely believe that right now, in the center of the park, we need a bit more. We need a bit more dynamic figure. I'm hoping that Joe Willock can be that player. I think he has potential, but he's not even playing right now. He's not even starting games. So I think nothing is going to change in this squad until we sign a goal-scoring midfielder, someone that can at least chip in 8 goals a season. 8, I'm not even asking 10, 8 goals a season, because with those 8 goals, generally speaking, that attacking midfielder will also offer probably another 8 assists. That's 16 extra goals, and that's about the average that we hit in the 6 seasons previous in respects to the center of the park offering goals. But right now, we don't have anything. And people are wondering why we're sitting around that 10th position. Because we can't score goals. How can Burnley look more threatening than we do? How can teams like Palace look more threatening than us? Bournemouth at times look better going forward than we do. These sort of clubs, these mid-table clubs. And it just baffles me that we cannot address this area, and we have not addressed it, and don't tell me a loan for Ceballos is enough, because it's not. So, I guess to summarise, our centre midfielders are not offering enough goals. As I said before, we've got 1 goal in the Premier League this season from a centre midfielder, and that's Torreira. One of the most damning statistics I have seen since watching Arsenal, compared to, on average, in the previous 6 seasons before, we average around 16 to 18 goals from the midfield. So right now, we're missing around 16 to 18 goals this season. Anyway, Thank you for watching my video, guys. Please give me some feedback in the comments below. Keep an eye out for some new videos I'm doing this week. I'm going to do a video regarding our contract situation at the moment with players running down their contract in the final 2 years. Keep your eyes peeled for that. This is APFC. Thanks for coming to my channel.